And we're live.
Hey, I think my chair is getting lower again because.
Oh, I might have lowered it. I'm not sure.
Oh, there's a
Yeah,
handle.
yeah. There's adjustments.
Not much. All right,
Oh,
there we go.
okay.
That's at least somewhat better. All right.
Nice.
Not that short.
So how's it going?
Hot.
Yes, yeah. It's
Still
still,
hot.
yeah,
It's
still
still
a
hot.
miserable summer here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully the air conditioning background will be off soon. But for now, for now we're gonna have to filter it out.
Yeah. Otherwise, we would just melt.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So what have you been up to?
Setting up extra fish tanks for the
Oh, yes, for your
unintentional
your
breeding program I did.
You might have stumbled on a new career there.
Except I don't know where to sell all these fish
Yeah.
off. Anyway. In between that,
Mm-hmm.
I've just been painting up more 2mm little people.
Oh, nice.
I'm working on the the Persians now, which, okay, I'm not going for like super historical accuracy here, but I mean you're playing a historical war game, and at 2mm, like they're little pegs, right?
Oh, yeah,
So it's the arrangement of troops on the little block, as well as color that I'm kind of using to help differentiate the sides. Right? So, and someone luckily just posted a not tutorial but like guide on like ancient Persian dress, because back then like people
cool.
didn't have,
Yeah.
apart from a few notable things, like armies didn't have uniforms, right? So it's kind of, I feel, striking a balance between like, okay, wanting this group to look kind of like ragtag and kind of motley versus some kind of uniformity. Anyway, yeah.
No, that's cool.
That's what I've been doing. Painting with my little magnifying glasses. I'm painting tiny little pegs. Yeah. And pretending they're people. Yeah.
Nice. Tiny little people. So
Yep.
have you mounted the metal? The
I haven't done the
okay.
metal yet.
Okay, so these are still the laser cut?
These are still laser cut 2mm wood. Yeah. Bless you. Yeah. Which I like them. It's very light. Right? That's why I think like mounting them on a magnetic sheet helps give them some heft and
Right,
will stick them
right.
down. Yeah. But I haven't mounted the metal yet. That's Romans and Gauls. So we'll see how that goes.
Nice. And for these, do you really need any terrain? Are you going to do like any little forests or rivers or any kind
I'm
of...
going to try and do some forests. People had a really good idea about cutting like a green scouring pad and then just putting clump foliage on it, because that's like the exact correct scale for forests.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's got to be, thinking that small has got to be a whole new adjustment. Just a grain of rice, that's way too big. I don't know what that...
Yeah, grain of rice, it's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Very cool. Yeah, we're going to try some outguns on Friday night. Yeah, so that'll be Saturday this time, our time here, but Friday night.
Iron Swarm go?
Oh, that was good. Yeah, I like that system a lot. I like it. I was surprised. It works well, and it really unfolds. Like it really, it's good. It's a really creative system. It doesn't get in the way, and it kind of prompts you to do stuff. And if you're really stuck, you have the you have the couple of types of, what type of situation is this? What's a cause or a description of it? And sometimes it's very abstract, but then that can help you kind of find your way through it. But yeah, so it's gotten me motivated. I like the system a lot, and we may not get back to Ironsworn very often. But now I'm thinking maybe a solo Starforged jam would be fun for the channel.
I've got the books if you want to borrow.
Oh,
I've
nice,
got all the books and the cards and all the stuff for Starforged if you want to borrow it.
Nice.
There's also a Sundered Isles if you want to do kind of like fantasy.
That's right.
Pirate stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and was really cool about that because they did that as a campaign as well. But everybody that supported Starforged got the PDF for that. That was really nice. Yeah, that they're thinking about everybody that's supported them along the way. Yeah, and I've just got PDFs for Ironsworn. I got to order because I included those in my Starforged pledge, the print on demand, and I just haven't ordered them yet. And I'm sure I'm sure the price has gone up.
I somehow ended up with an extra copy of some of the cards.
Oh, cool.
Because I have Ironsworn and Ironsworn Delve, and I got the Realm cards and stuff. So
that's cool.
So I could give you those.
Nice. Yeah, the print on demand, I think there was like a deadline before the price went up for shipping or production or something on drive-through, and I'm like, I just missed that. So then I just kind of gave up. So hopefully it doesn't expire, my little voucher. But so we'll see. But yeah, that really got me excited to try that because there's all the tools are there, and it's really fun to to kind of feel your way through that. And yeah, so I'm curious.
You do have to, if you do play solely, like you do have to be open to like just kind of, if you have an idea of where things are going to go, like you kind of do that. But otherwise, you just kind of like, I'm going to see what role I get, right? And there's no one to keep you honest. So I mean, like with any solo game, you can be like, I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to roll again, right? Whatever. Like,
yeah. The thing I like, so we were playing on Foundry, and Foundry has the modules for it have all the tables and everything built in. So yeah, you can just click on little links on your character sheet and things, and yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, they did a decent job. Yeah. Hey, thanks for the follow, Ruxfall.
Ruxfall, you all die.
But yeah, so that got me motivated, because I was thinking, shooting like a tabletop, because they've got so many nice physical assets, the cards and the spiral bound book and everything. So it lays nice and flat. So I like that, but I'm like, well, wait a minute. Yeah, that might be nice to just use the VTT. Foundry's got everything in there, so I could just you could just maximize those character sheets on those tables, and just keep pulling those up. And plus, I've got all this, all these sci-fi minis from Mantic. Just got that their crazy summer box of sci-fi. So I've got all kinds of crazy little minis. So that might be fun to pull some of those out and figure out how those fit into a cohesive wackadoo story.
Or then play 5 Parsecs from Home. I still want to try that.
Yeah, that's what I guess Modifius did, a Mass Effect board game, and that's what they were saying, because they did miniatures. I guess you can play it you can play it just with a basic set, and then maybe tokens for the enemies and stuff of the miniatures, but they made like a $300 or €300 whatever set of all the miniatures you would possibly need, all the troops and all the enemy aliens and stuff, and but they said, and these would work well for 5 parsecs from
I mean, they
like, okay, they're not lying, but
I mean, they published 5 Parsecs from Home, right? Or at least 5 leagues from the borderland. So I got no problem with a company saying, by the way, you could also use this with our other product. Right. I think I would have more of a problem if Modifius went, and here's our 5 Parsecs from Home set. Right. No.
Yeah, they did work though. They do have official, which you could probably have printed out, but they do have official STLs that they did with Titanforge. So yeah, that's great, and those were based on the illustrations in the book. So yeah, they've done a lot of stuff. Yeah, lots of minis, but they are board game minis. Yeah. So yeah, you're kind of.
Tell us how you really feel about that with that information.
You're dealing with that. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, there's a thing we'll talk about this week that I was like, oh, that would be really cool. I'm like, board game minis. Yeah, you're right. There's a huge difference in in what shows up. What a bunch of plastic, like right. Board game resolution, board game quality, which is much better than it used to be. I mean, it used to be garbage. Like kind of. Single piece, kind of the, flat, hieroglyphic looking. But
when you get down to it, everything is just a token.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Well, that's what, when we were doing the playtest for the Epic Warpath, that's what I was feeling. Is like we were imagining things with just these little plastic discs that were just as good as having painted minis on the table, because of the, the abilities of the troops and everything. You're just like, oh, this is so cool, and I can see them on the battlefield.
So what you're saying is, miniatures game. No miniatures, because your imagination is just never going to be as good as what actually goes on the table.
Right. Yeah. So that's funny, but I mean, I think that's a problem, because and a lot of those war games came from the little cardboard chip kind of that kind of stuff, and that was fun for a while. Like it was a whole decade.
What do you mean for a while? They're still like
people still doing it.
People still do it, right?
Still do it. But so, and that just like kind of what you're stumbling into with that. Wow, 2mm. That saves a lot of space. I mean, look at all the plastic. I have to find a.
Well, it does, unless you decide you're going to build out like every possible option for every possible like ancient Greek hoplite army. Then you're just like,
you've got a filing cabinet now where you have to.
It's funny enough, on like some of the Facebook groups for that DBA, they're like, and here's all my armies, and it's like, I'm just like, I'm going to be there soon, so, or maybe not. I don't know.
Is that under H for hoplite? Where is that? No, that's funny. But so we'll see how some Outgunned goes. So buddy cop, 80s buddy cop theme, and somebody's 6 months from retirement, so we'll find out how that goes.
Do they make it that 6 months?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, and Matt is going to run it, and I was thinking, this might be, because they suggest that in the rules. It's like, think of it as movies, like acts, 3-act movies, And so if you want to do a campaign, maybe do like a trilogy of summer movies, in
I
like,
that. That'd be pretty cool,
declining quality.
Yeah.
The plots, so you don't have as much challenge as a game master. The plots can just get worse and cheap as
Well, they can,
you're just
right?
retreading.
Oh, come on,
It's
like any 10-year long D&D thing is like
Yeah.
gold all the way through, right?
Right. Yeah, by the end, it's just they're saying the exact same things they said in the first film. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that was weird. I was just watching something on, kind of blockbuster summer movie things, and talking about Jaws was the first movie where it was the cash-in sequel. So Jaws 2
Really?
was
Okay.
officially like the first cash-in sequel, and yeah, they did do a terrible job of it. And poor Roy Scheider was trapped, like contract-wise, he had to do it, and he did not want to be there. But yeah, that was the first time that like this was big. We got to do it again and as fast as possible. And
Right.
so that's where the curse began.
I don't know if I've watched Jaws 2. I watched Jaws 1 recently on Netflix.
It's
right?
that's perfect. That's a
I'd
real
forgotten
masterpiece.
how okay, by today's standards, it's not gory. It's not it's not blood, but I'd forgotten kind of like how bloody fake blood like it is. Like I forgot the one scene with like the kid on the raft. You see the like it's real quick, but you see like I'm like,
Oh,
like
that's
I'd
right.
forgotten about that, or
that's
just
right.
like yeah.
And I still clench up a little bit at just the swimmer at the beginning. They have her on some winch or something. They're just pulling her, and it looks painful. And her gagging, her yelling, and it's shut off by her going underwater. Like, okay, that was really effective, and we didn't see a rubber shark or anything.
Nope. You're just like, oh god, I don't want to die. You're just like, wow, that's some stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah, really, really intense.
I'm gonna have to go watch Jaws 2 and see how terrible it is.
Yeah, it's I remember seeing that in the theater more than I do Jaws 1. I think I did see Jaws 1, or I don't know, maybe not, but I have memories of seeing that in the theater, and that was really shocking. The scenes in that, it still has some of the really kind of shocking stuff. So I remember being more affected by that, and remember those scenes a lot more. And it's hard for me. Oh, that's right. That wasn't the original movie. Every time I watch the original movie, I'm like, "Where's the scene where the kid gets pulled off the edge of the boat?" And oh, no.
That was kidding, yeah.
That's the other one. And then they just decline so horribly.
So what, 17 or something?
Yeah. I think they wanted to, but I think that they gave up at the Revenge. Yeah, after the 3D, then they did the Revenge, and then they're just like, okay, this is not. Or no, Revenge 2 was the Revenge, I think. But yeah, by Jaws 4, it got so weird where the shark is following them down to Jamaica and like or the Caribbean. I don't know if it was in Bahamas or something.
After Jaws 1, just watch Under Paris.
Yeah,
That was good.
Yeah, but they don't make them like that anymore.
They tried.
Yeah,
They tried
right,
real hard, yeah.
I guess on that big release, I think there's a lot of good indie horror stuff that is affecting like that. But yeah, the big movies, you're not going to see that kind of stuff. But anyhow, how is that related to the tabletop? Well, there was a table. There was remember the plastic shark where you had to put the hook in his mouth and pull out the tires and the boots and stuff?
I had the Little Shop of Horrors ripoff where it was Audrey, where you had to drop marbles in its mouth. Right?
Nice. Feeding Audrey marbles. Nice.
Not dentists, marbles.
Right. Not dentists. All right. So let's see who's in the chat. Hey, Orcas. Hey, everybody. Sorry for the early. Yeah. It's not Thursday night. It's actually still Wednesday. Yeah. So I've got an unmovable appointment tomorrow. Right. So I thought we would do stuff early. It's the weekly early day, and it's only going to get worse. We've got 2 weeks of maybe a normal schedule, and then I'm going to be gone. And I don't know if I'm not going to have a computer with me.
Yeah.
If I can do it on an iPad, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I'll experiment with what's possible, but we may pre-record something not worry about it. Because with Restream, you can record a video and then upload it to their cloud storage and then schedule it. Yeah. So we might do that, but then you guys will be chatting to nobody. Yeah. We won't even know. We'll pretend. We'll like react. Hey, Matt. Hey, Valerian. How's it going? And you won't even have to be there. You'll still get a reaction. Yeah, Iron was fun. Yeah, I like that a lot. It surprised me a lot more than I thought. I was like, yeah, this really works, and it feels really compelling, like what we were putting together. Just that, I always like the group world building, like when everyone's contributing. I think that really makes things fun. Nice. Orcus came in on his wife's account. What other accounts is Orcus using? We'll never know. I don't see Abyss here, so we'll have to just give him benefit of the doubt. Okay, so let's get started for this week. Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, Cyberpunk 2077 board game at about $4 million already. And Faster Purple Worm Kill the book.
Still mad about this, but okay, continue.
Yes. Wharf Rat Games. And we'll end with some more wacky discussion of AI usage in Dungeons and Dragons. And it just gets worse. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so here we go. So let's start out with a giant... So I thought this was over. I thought the, tons of plastic, Ameritrash board game thing was over. But nope. We've got Go On Board, which is a Polish board game company that works directly with CD Projekt Red. They've done 2 Witcher board games, and now they're doing a Cyberpunk 2077 board game, and it's almost at $4 million. And it's a board game, and it's kind of, it's not innovative. It's the same kind of stuff you've seen before. You roll funny dice, and you can plug those into skills, and you're doing jobs and mission cards, and it's the same thing we've kind of seen. I mean, maybe there's some tightness of the and what you're mainly looking at too is not original mechanics, but how well they're simulating the game, the PC console game. So it's a cooperative, scenario-based tactical combat game. We've already had the kind of skirmish game, the City Wars, the one that came out previously, which everything is kind of on weird hex bases, and it's not. So there's not going to be any real compatibility. And this is going to be all characters from the video game. It's not going to be generic runners or anything. It's going to be the 2 versions, the 2 genders of V, and then the all the characters from the story. So you're doing character building, deck building, crafting, and the interesting, the thing that turns me off a bit, because they keep doing this, but their gimmick is real-time turns. And
I saw that.
Yeah, so real-time turns, because you're using an app on a tablet or a phone. So the app is timing. There's an assistant app that's timing you. And then it's also the narrator for the story. It's probably giving you character voices and stuff.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
Those 1980s
VCR
VCR board games, right? Like, I never actually had one, but I remember the commercials for it, and okay, the technology is obviously different. This is the same thing, right? It's kind of using, or I feel it's the same thing. It's using whatever kind of whatever cool new technology is, and kind of like forcing it into like a game, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of no blanket statements. I'm generally not a fan of real-time stuff. Yeah. Even in like pen and paper RPGs, because some of the old school revival era stuff is like spells last for this many minutes of real time, and I'm like, not a fan, because those 5 minutes could be a week of game time, right, or less than a second, depending on what happens, right? So I'm just this is different, and it could add tension, right? Okay, thinking about dread and
keep things moving,
right? And keep things moving, but I don't know.
I think that comparison to the VHS games is accurate, because a lot of those, especially if it was like a trivia game or something, it was timed, because they would ask a question and then they give you like 10 seconds, like time's up, you know. So you would have effects in that way. So you've got a little hand of 4 cards from your personal deck, based on what character you're playing, and you're just running missions. You're getting missions from that bar in the game, and but the thing is, the missions are kind of generated, so that it's randomly generated, so infinite recombinations of the thing, so it's never going to be the same thing. And there's also districts in the game, in Night City, and so certain things will be available during certain times according to the app. So it'll randomize things enough that hopefully it'll be interesting. But you're still like moving your board game mini into an area, and you're rolling dice and say, I've got 3 attacks and I need 4.
I mean, I guess it hit all the it hit all the check boxes to be a 4 million Kickstarter. Where I would be way more interested in this game if it was just like somehow they crammed all this replayability and narrative stuff into like a deck of 18 cards.
Right.
But that's not going to make a $4 million, right? Like you need the miniatures.
You get 4 million people.
You need the miniatures. You need the app. You need the board game. You need the likeness of the characters. You need it attached to a big IP like this. And honestly, I think like the general public, is obviously still not burned out on big IPs get in a game.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Or
doing well.
3 or
crowdfunding.
5 or whatever.
Right. And I think the thing, people like the game, and the game is over. Like they did DLC for it, so there was another kind of little short campaign for it, but it's over. But people really like those characters and like the stories that we're telling. So the stories that were told. So if this narrative is anything like, because they're working with CD Projekt Red, so if it's anything like what was in the game, people do want to like keep that going, and the characters that died in the game and stuff, you can play them, they're alive again. So I think that narrative thing that people liked about the game, and the this being a narrative board game, probably is part of the popularity, because I don't think the original, that's first published Skirmish game, did nearly as well as this. And these are the characters, these are licensed characters from the game, so people want their tiny
Yep.
their tiny Pan Ams and whatever.
What you said made me think of sorry. What you said made me think of a discussion we'd had when we were talking about Alien Romulus, where, okay, people don't want the story to end. And I think that's kind of a problem with modern stuff, where like, okay, Alien Romulus, like all the more recent Star Wars movies, all these things, like, they're not anything new, right? They're not moving the timeline forward. They're not advancing the story. They're playing in the decreasing little gaps between like the franchise. And maybe that's what is driving a charitable interpretation. Maybe that's what's driving these sales of board game. Like, cool, you played it, you want to play it again, you kind of don't want this thing to stop, so here it is again in a different form. Yeah, I wonder what it's going to take to kind of move things forward, get people out of their nostalgia, and I guess just our generation has to be dead, and then people will move forward. And there'll be nostalgia for things that are weird and strange. I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, so the Gangs of Night City was the Come game from last year, and I don't think it got anywhere near $4 million in its crowdfunding. And this is on Gamefound as well, so they're going to get a bigger piece of this. And I have the first Witcher game that they did, which is not the characters from the game; it's just like your generic Witchers. And the quality is great. They do a nice job. So and they shipped on time, and everything came well. So I think you can trust what they're doing. Although this game with stretch goals and everything does seem maybe to be getting away from them. They have so many. Well, now the cardboard is not getting away from them in levels of like ogre. Right. I don't think anything can get that big and out of control. So like we talked about before the cast, so there's a Mass Effect board game which is similar to, if you enjoyed those games, you can play those characters and kind of combat based missions, and so we'll see. I guess it's not over. I really thought like the pandemic was going to be the end of these giant crowdfunders, but IPs are keeping it alive. Well, speaking of cashing in on IPs, Matthew Lillard's company. Who would have thought? Beadle Grimm is, of course, they're going to crowdfund it on Kickstarter, but they are going to release a Faster Purple Worm: Everybody Dies as a book. So what this book is going to be is the 15 one-shots that I don't know if they taped all of them, but I think some of the scenarios that they used for the streaming show, or not, it wasn't even streaming, it was like the ad supported whatever free channel stuff, that Amazon Freevee and Plex TV show called Faster Purple Worm Kill. So that was a release last year. I found it. I ended up finding it on my my Google TV thing, and it's a cute idea. It doesn't work well as a show, and I think it's going to work even less well as a book. Like what's the point of this? Like, are you really going to play these? So actor-director Matthew Lillard is putting all of this together. So he's turning his D&D comedy show into a book, and the idea is a total party kill for every single one shot. So 15 one shots. And this is Lillard and Bill Rahor of Beadle Grimm. It's already on Kickstarter. It went live on September 3rd. And this is based on the series of a lot of overacting people yelling and screaming and shouting, and their kind of cutesy, unique premise. So the quote is, this is a human stories of people that do incredible things in the face of ultimately their demise. So you're all level 1 characters. And so you're doing irreverent. So these scenarios are designed for irreverent improvisational games, where everybody is going to meet their end. And I think
when you, I mean, there are games like, the cinematic scenarios for Alien are kind of tend towards that, but those are interesting because there's drama. This is just comedic death. It's just.
I haven't moved in about like a solid 2 minutes to show my displeasure with how stupid this thing is, right?
Right.
So I'm just like, I don't think I can just show disgust or distaste any stronger. So basically, you've made a level 1 funnel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like
you've made a level 1 funnel, and you've made it fun and cutesy and improv, and like, okay, you want to highlight the improv nature of these things? Why are you playing D&D?
Right.
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, this sounds like you're just like cashing in. Maybe I'm not going to watch a show because I don't. Maybe the show was funny. I have to think any and all entertainment value came from the actors and performers at the table.
Yeah.
That
not
was all, from anything intrinsic to the adventure.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and all of it, like the set design, there was all Beadle and Grimm. It was basically like an infomercial for Beadle and Grimm.
I'm sure they were drinking the whiskey too, or whatever.
Right. Yeah. So you can die. Your party can die at a costume ball, in a den of snakes, or on a squid. So yeah, lots of clever, funny things. And I think there's been infinitely more creative stuff that people have done in Dungeon Crawl Classics and a lot of other systems. And I don't think this is great, but the book, each adventure has a sidebar suggesting ways to adapt these funnels basically to part of your ongoing campaign. So I guess make them less deadly.
Well, right there it says in which the players actually survive. So what's the point of your book? Right. You just want to sell this thing and make money.
Right.
You've done.
Yep, and you got the name, so you're all set. So yeah, as of our recording, it's over 100,000. So I don't know how interested people really are in this, but these guys seem to be able to cash in, and the higher it goes, of course, the stretch goals are going to take it from 12 to the full 15. You can get a PDF or physical book, and of course, alternate covers and autographed versions, because everyone wants live-action Shaggy's autograph. And this is marked Volume 1, so that is anticipating more of this nonsense. But the production of the show looked pretty expensive. I'm sure it was done in a Hollywood studio and stuff. But I mean, how they couldn't have made any money back. Yeah, they couldn't have made any money back. And this may be a way to, like, the work that they did to write these adventures and everything. This may be just another way to try to generate some revenue from this.
I tend to think that Beadle and Grimm. Actually, I have no information to back this up. I tend to think Beadle and Grimm kind of makes bank.
Oh, yeah,
specifically
they haven't
because
stopped.
From all,
So.
like, that's right. They haven't stopped, which is what makes me think they do it, right?
Right.
And it's all the whales and like FOMO that's driving this. I have to think, as opposed to any actual use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny that D&D's come to this kind of celebrity thing. It's like, well, what famous people are playing? Yeah.
You push it as a lifestyle brand, that's what it's going to become.
Right. Yeah, so that's what maybe is attracting people to this, but it's just silly. But let's talk about something that sounds a little bit more legitimate and may actually be inspiring to people. So Wharf Rat Games. So the founders, Wes Crawford and Ryan Hellman, are trying to focus a company that publishes board games on a very specific thing: the speed of the publication process from contract signing to actual production of your board game.
Okay.
So you're going to cut down the time it takes for a designer's game to go from you've signed up with us and now we are launching your game and it's hitting retail.
Okay.
And so Wharf Rat Games is. So the two founders have previously published board games on their own. Through other companies, and decided that they wanted to do something a little bit different and create a new company and stand out by focusing on working on only one game at a time and getting it out the door, kind of speed of production. So some of the quotes from the founders: many designers that I've spoken to feel that it takes too long to work their way through the publishing process, as there are tons of projects in the pipeline. We're only going to sign one game and plan to focus on the development and publication of that game over the course of the next year. As designers, we want to reward and treat our designers as well as possible and involve them in the process from design to fulfillment. Communication is the key to a great relationship. And of course, Wharf Rat is a reference to the maritime working class history of their home city of Baltimore.
Okay.
And they want to create games with engaging themes and exceptional components. So Hellman says, I think Alex Knight's Land and Freedom is a good example of the type of medium difficulty game I'm hoping to sign. It is quick playing, fairly easy to pick up, but has a lot of meat on the bones. And Our Pursuit of John Wilkes Booth, which is published by a previous company, Blue Panther, would be another example. The gameplay is not very difficult, but a number of interactions of the cards and is staggering, and each turn presents a novel situation to face and maximize the capability with limited resources.
So it sounds to me like emergent complexity.
Yeah.
Like like each individual component, or the rules are fairly simple, but how they interact creates fun and engagement and sort of important and interesting choices. Okay.
Right. Yeah, and Hellman has worked on a game called Lucky Little Luxembourg, which is a quick chit-pulling solo game which attempts to simulate the beginning of World War I in Luxembourg on a 6x4 postcard.
See, this kind of stuff is what I'm interested in, right?
Yeah.
How do you make this game fit on a postcard?
Right. So he says, well, I enjoyed working with other companies. I really wanted to take full control over the entire process of creating the game. So Wes and I started working together when I did a prototype of the artwork for the Raid on St. Albans and Engine Thieves. And we hit it off and then decided to co-design a game about the manhunt for John Wilkes Booth. So starting our own company is always a scary venture, but we are investing our hard-earned savings into something that is quite unknown at this point, and the chance of failure in any new venture is quite high, but Wes and I are overcoming this by creating a very clear mission for the company, very limited initial goals, and we have other sources of income. So now this is just our part-time business. Okay. So they're hoping for a successful 2025, and they want to... so what they're looking for is a great game that we love and that we are excited to publish. So that means Wharfret is taking submissions. Yeah. So this is the criteria that they're looking for. So entertaining and engaging games, interesting and novel topics, medium difficulty level, historical, science fiction, or fantasy themes, solitaire or multiplayer options with solitaire required for multiplayer games, polished and play-tested games, and must include a rule book.
So basically, they're looking for stuff that's finished.
Yeah, I think
they're
so.
not looking for pitch ideas.
Right.
I have an idea for a game. No, get out. Right?
No. So it fits on a postcard, and
it's like, here's my game. It's done. It's been play tested. All I need is a publisher.
Yes. And what they're saying that they will provide is quick turnaround from contract signing to publication. So I'll put a link to their page that reiterates these criteria, and if you want to submit a proposal to them...
have a proposal to submit, yeah.
Yes. info@wharfretgames.com.
If you have a proposal to submit, if you have a submission to propose, I mix those up, right?
You can do both.
You can do both, yeah.
Yes. So that's nice. A little bit of people trying to do something good. And they know it's not a guaranteed hit. They're not cashing in. They're not like, we got the IP
they're
for...
not Beadle and Grimming it.
Yeah, they're not Beadle and Grimming it.
I'm verbing that now. Beadle and Grimming it.
You Beadle and Grimmed
on
it.
A blatant cash grab.
Right. You got some celebrity juice on it, and you're going for it. All right, so we're going to end with some outrageous nonsense.
That's strangely par for the course. All right. Not strangely anymore. Just
moving away from things that might actually be great and have a good effect on the tabletop. Hasbro's CEO Chris Cox talks AI usage in D&D. So who did he talk this to?
ChatGPT?
Right.
Stockholders, investors.
Yes, Goldman Sachs. A Goldman Sachs event. He spoke about AI. So he is convinced that the Dungeons & Dragons franchise will support some kind of AI usage in the future, of course. And he was asked about at this event whether AI has the potential to, this is such corporate shit speak, bend the cost curve in terms of entertainment development and digital gaming, and how it's going to be used also because it is Hasbro in the toy and content industries. So ready for the quote from Mr. Cox?
I'm ready to hold back my bile. All right.
So inside of development, we've already been using AI. Oh, have you now?
You forgot to mention this is being editorialized.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry. That wasn't him. That was me. It's mostly machine learning based AI or proprietary AI as opposed to ChatGPT in approach. We will deploy it significantly and liberally internally as both a knowledge worker aid and as a development aid. I'm probably more excited, though, about the playful elements of AI. If you look at a typical D&D player, ... I play with probably 30 or 40 people regularly while running Hasbro.
If you look at a typical DMD...
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So
he's now referring to myself.
Right,
maybe I'm
atypical. And I play with 30 or 40 people regularly, so I know what D&D players look like. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, all right.
Really? Is this like a forced corporate event or something? Anyhow, there is not a single player of these 30 or 40
Yep.
that doesn't use AI somehow for either campaign development or character development or story ideas.
Your 30 or 40 players are shit.
Yeah.
Saying it now.
Yeah, so that's a clear signal that we need to be embracing it. We need to do, we need to do it carefully. We need to do it responsibly. Blah, corporate. We need to make sure we pay our creatives for their work, even though we've already stolen it
with AI.
for the data sets. But whatever. And we need to make sure we're clear when using something that is AI generated, because it has no value and we shouldn't be able to charge for it. But anyhow, themes around using AI to enable user-generated content, using AI to streamline new player introduction, that's weird, using AI for emergent storytelling, because that's what AI is so good at. I think you're going to see that not just our hardcore brands like D&D, but also our multiple other brands are going to
What are your other brands?
involved.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah, G.I. Joe and Transformers, and all their maybe toys with other content. Yikes. So they repeated, Wizards of the Coast repeated, Dungeons and Dragons is a game made by people for people, because they have already had their multiple AI controversies. The Bixby's Presents the Glory of Giants had AI generated art fixing some fur on some illustrations, and so they do have an AI FAQ on the Hasbro website. And Hasbro has the vast portfolio of 1,900 plus brands. I guess that includes like every single board game and everything. Right? Yes. The two most important being Magic and D&D. Those are their two most cherished brands. But even things like Trivial Pursuit, AI generated Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah,
jeez, that sounds great.
Yeah,
but anyhow, so this article had a ton of great comments. So things like so some of the comments underneath this statement: I wonder what kind of models you could build by training it on thousands of hours of YouTube. That should be great. And then, for example, so the use of AI. So, example, we have tens of thousands of monsters over all of the editions. So the next monster book, you can just write the prompt, give me a monster book with 350 random monsters stylized and configured in a 2024 D&D format, and not have to pay anybody to do that.
Yeah.
Or, and somebody else said, wait, 30 to 40 players and they all use AI? You need to stop gaming with tech bros, dude. Yeah.
Or like I said, it's like a forced corporate thing. Okay, everyone, pull up your AI generated. Yeah, okay, everyone doing it? Yeah, okay, we all use AI. Yeah, because you mandated it.
Yep. And so now we know, another comment, now we know what all those layoffs paid for, the implementation of AI. Yeah, that number is a little staggering. 30 to... What does this guy actually work? 30 to 40 players? Who the hell plays with 30 to 40 players unless you're just jumping on random?
Maybe he watches
Discord?
Critical Role and counts that as playing. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess he just sits all day on D&D Beyond and says, looking for group. So I took a look at the generative AI FAQ just out of curiosity, and some of the questions that they asked, generally like, what are your policies? And they say, well, we have an artist handbook that we give to everybody that has a contract with us. It's not a public document, so they're not going to share.
I've seen. They're pretty cool.
Oh yeah. So they not going to reveal. So they're talking a lot in this FAQ about transparency, but also protecting their stuff whenever.
Okay.
So and things. Then they go on to talk about. So their core of their policy is Magic and D&D have been built on the innovation, ingenuity, and hard work of talented people who have sculpted these beautiful and creative games. So as such, we do require artists, writers, and creatives to contribute to the games. So we ask them to refrain from using AI generative tools to create final products for Magic.
Keyword there's final.
You're right. Yeah, it's gonna. So, what tools do you have in place to detect generative AI? So, they always want to continue to have a human in the loop in their production. So, they're going to start using artistry with a double E at the end. Artistry, which is a suite of tools to detect AI. So, the Artistry Human Certification Project was built to try to detect this, but we already know these tools aren't very successful, and they have to be like reverse engineered from specific like from Midjourney or something specific to actually work effectively. They just can't generally detect because it's it's kind of useless criteria. So so they're saying that they're going to use that to prevent it from getting past them. How will you handle a situation where a piece of art that used generative AI isn't caught and so they're going to run and rerun our tools, and any kind of public discourse that starts, that opens up about a piece, they'll make sure that they deal with. And why are you not being transparent about your AI use?
Because we're corporate.
Yeah, right.
Shills.
We're trying to be as transparent as possible, and this is an interesting. We're trying to be as transparent as possible, but not at the cost of people's privacy or livelihoods. So, I guess they're not going to publicly say we rejected this piece of art because this artist tried to sneak AI past us. Is that what they're referring to, or just
I could see that.
Yeah,
I mean,
they don't want to.
I mean, it sounds like they're just covering their butt, but I mean, one possibility could be, sorry, this person we worked with used AI, and then that person gets dogged up.
Yeah, and but they're not. The thing that's strange about this whole FAQ is they're not real big on sharing artists' names. Like, they don't publish.
No,
credits,
I think they're not big on
credits
sharing artists' names the same way GW isn't big on sharing their painters' names.
Yeah.
So that they don't get burned after they treat them crappily, and then they have their own following, right?
Right. Yes. So and so it just goes on to talk about how they're doing. So if there was one takeaway I should have from this FAQ, so tell me what the takeaway is, Watsy. What should it be? So they're saying human beings are fallible.
Blanket statement right there. Human beings are fallible. It's fine. We're going to mess up. We know it. You know it. We put it out there. We're going to use that.
Maybe intentional. We may be intentionally fallible, but so whether it is a conglomerate of human beings like a company or a single human being like an artist, in the tension between perfection and transparency. Perfection. Yes, because when I think of Watsy, I think of perfection. Yeah, basically. So we erred on the side of transparency. As stated throughout, we've been consistent in our position and respect for generative AI in Magic and D&D. Unless you can sneak it past us, then we, whoops, yeah. So they'll occasionally stumble along the way. So I guess that's what they're calling these.
Sure,
stumbles. That old OGL stumble and their production quality stumbles. Yeah, so Watsy will continue to stumble and use AI and
stumble. Get caught. Whoops! We did the oopsie boo boo. So, like, no, he got caught.
Yeah. If the people at the top are already this enamored with AI and what it's capable of for emergent storytelling and character introduction, those are the things that require the human creativity and imagination. It's like, just sit back. Okay, what character introduction? Oh, wait, let me click the button and again, just like, okay.
I don't know. Like, okay. I think I said before, sometimes the person in charge of a project can be too enamored with it, right? So, like, you don't necessarily want a mega D&D stan in charge of D&D, right?
Right.
But, I mean, there's got to be a happy middle. On this, this kind of goes for anything. But the same token, you don't want someone who absolutely doesn't know what the product is helming things. And this kind of seems like we've talked before, like, tech bros in charge of something that doesn't need tech, right? And I'm sure Hasbro has shareholders, so Chris Cox is up there using all the important corporate buzzwords and stuff and embracing the technology that everyone else has to embrace, because otherwise they're going to get afraid of being left behind. But at the same time, you have a product that's going, no, we don't want to use this stuff. Well, it's like, where are you going to rectify that? Except for I don't know, my feelings, like whatever the CEO says goes, right? How long before D&D how long before Watsy walks back that no AI thing because the mandate from corporate came down? This is what you're doing now.
Right. Yeah, they could just edit this. FAQ is HTML. They can just edit this at any time and say, yeah, we don't believe that anymore. And I think
Did
also...
we say that? Where's the proof?
Yeah, I don't...
Unless you, like, Wayback Machine screenshotted that thing.
Right.
It's always been this, right?
Yeah, and it's interesting. They're talking about, implementing AI across all of their brands. So obviously they don't want any more talk of like spinning off Watsy from Hasbro, because these are their cash cows right now. These are their valuable brands. And so we're implementing this AI, use, and it's going to be across all of our brands. So if you take one of those away, they're out of the system now, and they're just not going to work as well and be as incredibly modern and generative as they could be, because that's what we need to be doing with all of our brands. Yeah, so I'm sure Goldman Sachs was drooling all over themselves because he said AI.
Yeah, really, that's all it is.
So we'll see, what this actually, and it's going to be, I think people are going to, just like people kind of detect, bullshit, the younger generation can detect bullshit and grooming people and creepy people and stuff online much more easily than maybe our generation could. I think we're all going to start being able to sniff out AI, generated news articles and images and stuff, and just be like, yeah, this has no value at all, and look for a different kind of authenticity, like look for human-made authenticity, as opposed to just within human-made stuff. Look for more more well-made stuff. So yeah, we're easily, I think, going to be able to start filtering this stuff. So. But it's just silly that they're gonna try to get this by us, and I'm really curious how many people are just gonna be like, all right.
Well, that's the thing. Like, okay, I don't like and hate the word normie, right? And I'm not saying there's like an in group and an out group, but there are definitely people within like TTRPG hobby or kind of miniature war game hobby or any hobby that kind of follow the development or the production or like the nuts and bolts of the stuff much more closely than other people. So I've often wondered, sure, like there's a lot of noise and a lot of people, it seems like a lot of people talking about all this stuff, and like, okay, what percent of people who play D&D or consider themselves D&D players is that group who cares about the nuts and bolts, right? How widely is this information known? Do people who don't want to know how the sausage gets made or care about the sausage gets made, do they care? Or are they aware of it, and do they care?
Yeah, and it'll be interesting, because it may, if they go heavy into AI usage, and it's going to make D&D Beyond and their sigil platform very different from what people are doing in other spaces on other VTTs and stuff that aren't using.
Well, if they've successfully made their walled garden, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, people are going to be having a very odd, different experience. It's like, just give me a sentence on your character, and here's your backstory.
Well, I mean, again, like I said, walled garden, but I mean that's what they're going for, right? And I have to think, if that is the case, if they get enough people to like, okay, unfortunately, like D&D is an entry to the hobby because of shills like Beadle and Grimm and Critical Role, and the fact that this company can have a movie made, multiple, right? Like that's the sole reason it's the entry point to the hobby, not because it's good, right? But because of all this not notoriety, because of all this like presence, people are going to join. They're going to get stuck in the walled garden. And if they perchance do try something, right, they're going to be like, well, why doesn't it do that? Or why doesn't that, right? Like this can if they build that user thing and they're like, oh, this is I got to actually get okay. People won't actually be like that. But like that's the thing, like, oh, this is completely different. It's new. I feel like I have to do more work. I'm not like I'm going back to D&D, right? This in no way, if they do it successfully, will harm them, because they'll just say, yeah, we've got you now. You're staying here. Keep giving us your money. Right.
Or you're going to want to think of a clever idea. You want to think what your character's going to say. No, we do that for you. Yeah, right. Yeah, is this just going to make the OSR, kind of group more surly about what D&D has become and how they need to
honestly,
separate
how could it not? Because where do OSR come from? You're either already old,
right.
You're disillusioned with D&D, so how could you not be grumpy about it? Hey, get some point, right? So it's just like that's what it attracts, right?
Yeah.
I have to think, right?
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. So this wasn't great to
not
read.
The best.
Not the best. Oh yeah, that's right. We needed the bumper out for every time we're talking about
much worse than not the best.
Hasbro. Yeah. It's and I can't believe. So it must, if you do have any, kind of love for the hobby as it originally was, created, it must be brutal to work at for D&D, under WotC now, because you're getting these mandates and directives, come from the top down that are just like, really, we're doing, oh my God, we're doing that? That's what we're doing?
It must be. Like, I don't understand how you could, no, that's a bit harsh. I was going to say, I don't understand how you could love D&D and work for WotC or Hasbro in this kind of thing. What you have to do is, like, you be a professional, and you're saying, my enjoyment, love of the game, it goes over here. The fact I need to eat and make a paycheck, that's what's doing it, right?
Yeah, right.
Yep. Let's write those prompts, right?
Yeah.
And then when you clock out, and you can go, oh man, I feel like, right? Yeah. Anyway.
But are you gaming with 30 to 40 people? And jeez, yeah. Yeah, because I think in previous statements before he talked about how often he plays D&D, and I was like,
He would have to, right? Wouldn't he?
no, that's weird. But how often does he play Transformers and G.I. Joe? That's what I want to know.
30 to 40 times a week with 30 to 40 people, right? This is going to be the calling it out. This is going to be like the TTRPG sphere, 30 to 50 feral hogs. 30 to 40 D&D players.
Right.
There you go.
Nice. Yeah, and that was something I think we mentioned. I think I just read it or just said it out loud in a previous week's podcast. But there was a weird thing in that D&D Direct where they kind of hinted at, this D&D Beyond and all the brands that Hasbro has, could Optimus Prime show up in the Forgotten Realms? Like they hinted at, and it's like, whoa, wait, what? It didn't stand out at the time as ridiculous as it is, but that's why they're emphasizing the multiverse. Probably it's just like we can just mash up our 1900 brands now. It's like Trivial
wanted to play Mr. Monopoly Man and D&D, but
right. Planescape versus Trivial Pursuit. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Yeah.
What
all on a Monopoly board.
Parcheesi pawn.
Yeah, right. So we'll see where this goes, but it's only getting worse. All right, so that's going to do it for this week. So where can people find you?
On Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads occasionally, and in select Facebook groups. It's Hivemind, HYVEMYND, where it's all just 2mm miniatures.
So you're going to have to zoom in a little bit. Like maybe
I get as close as you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway. So how about you?
Nice. I just had my September live stream.
Saw that, yep.
Yeah, so got everything drawn and everything eaten. I had some really terrible chocolate pineapple cookies. I didn't think that combination was going to be good, and it wasn't. But supposedly that's a Taiwan. I didn't know pineapple was big in Taiwan, but yeah, that was the world flavor of chocolate cookies for Taiwan. But there was some good stuff in there. Some mini Doritos, Japanese Japanese version of mini Doritos, and some good stuff. So that's Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch. And if you want to read that cartoon, gocomics.com/domestic abuse. It's a single panel gag cartoon, and
archive.
Yes, and it's been going on for 20 years. So if you have a lot of time on your hands and you like reading gags,
does it take 20 years to read?
Yes, and actually you can go through. There's a comment section under each of the cartoons, and it becomes this like pun-a-thon. Like everybody just riffs on the joke and tries to out-pun me, and they do a pretty good job. But if you like what we're doing here on The Weekly, consider becoming a weekling.
The strongest of all supporters.
You can do that at patreon.com/upturnedtable, and that'll let us know what you want to see on The Weekly, and just let us know that you're watching and enjoying every week.
D&D bashing. You got it.
You got
I don't even have to be paid. Right?
Fear of AI and D&D bashing is all we got. Yep. But so upturntable.com is the website, and on all social media, Upturntable. We've got actual plays. We're going to be doing a session of Outgunned this weekend, and so all that kind of stuff is coming up. And I'm going to be I got some complaints about ads, on an actual play, and this does make sense, because an actual play you just kind of want to put it on and kind of listen to it in the background or whatever. And if you're going to do that, and the YouTube ads that you have to skip are coming up, so I'm going to have to take a look at ad placement on the longer actual play files, and I will be releasing audio only versions of those, so you can get those. I'll make those the longer.
See, we do read the comments.
Yes, and put them on the RSS feed for the podcast, so you can download them there as well, or ignore them if it clutters up if it fills up your phone too much with these big long files, but. That'll be a way you can listen to it uninterrupted as a kind of background thing. And it'll also be, once it's there, it'll be available for download as an MP3. So thank you for joining us. We'll be back again next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye. All right. So how is it going? Yeah, sorry for the day early with no with no notice, but yeah, popped on. Yeah, the schedule was going to get a little weird. So yeah, Chris and I were talking about what we could do for kind of pre-recorded stuff. I don't know if that's actually that interesting. Maybe it's better to take some weeks off, because interactivity is a fun part of what we're doing here. So if there's none of that, then it's not really a weekly cast. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get enough content. There's so little happening. I was worried even just this day early, because a lot of times Thursday, when Thursday in North America, Friday our time, that night a lot of press releases and stuff happen for tabletop, especially Free League. So I'm always missing Free League announcements and stuff when we record Friday. So I thought Thursday would be even crazier. But a big surprise. Yeah, so it was a good time. Ironsworn was a good time. So good to see you, Clarion and Matt. And Rock's Fall, nice. Do you guys know which he asked early on, Roxfall asked, do you guys know which VTT is best for just character sheets? I think for free, I'm not sure about Roll20, like what kind of options they have, but I know there's almost every system, most of the major systems and even a lot of minor indie stuff has character sheets on Foundry. So Foundry is doing a really good, people are supporting it a lot for having the basic rules and character sheets for almost every system kind of built in there. I think they might have some biases or things that aren't developed as well, and of course they're not the professional official releases. They're third-party free support stuff, but people do a good job. The ones we used for I think we did Blade Runner, in that worked well, and I don't think that was the or in Star Trek wasn't the official release, and those worked relatively well. We didn't have any trouble with that, but I don't have a huge amount of experience, and I've kind of stayed away from Roll20 just because I didn't want to get stuck in there. I like the one-time licensing price for Foundry, even though maybe their official content packages are a little more expensive. You aren't paying a subscription, so that's nice. But the Ironsworn and Starforge was all in one package for Foundry, so that was nice. So yeah, I'm not sure, Ruxfall, if that's the best thing, and I'm not sure which platform is the easiest to develop your own. I don't know which which platform has ease of design with with what scripting or what markup language you need to use for their content, but Foundry has a pretty impressive free library of worlds and then character sheets. Nice, good to see you, Orcus. Yes, we are fooling everybody by thinking the week is almost over when it's not. We're always waiting for Julie to show up again, but then it's just Orcus. Hey, Abyss too, nice. Nice to see you, Abyss. Matt says if Chris Cox was ice cream, he'd be Praline and Dick. Nice. I can't believe he's got these massive. So is that 30 to 40 people in one session, or is that 30 to 40 people over like 6 sessions throughout the week? So funny that he is saying that he is such a dedicated D&D player. It's very interesting, because he's a Microsoft guy, right? So he came from Microsoft, so Yeah, but that's probably true. That's why everyone's using AI, because it's all his tech friends from Microsoft that have to do everything. That they're scripting and generating everything they do. And Abyss says, yeah, nothing this man is saying is true. There's no way they're using AI at that level, yeah, with constant use. Yeah, and that's really depressing. Like the most enjoyable part of kind of the emergent storytelling and world building and character creation, they want AI to have a role in that. That's everything is just going to become this anodyne kind of blended version of everything that's ever been done before. It's very meaningless. Yeah, Abyss, it's all lies. Yeah, I mean, talking to Goldman Sachs, I don't think you tell them any you don't give them any truths. You just tell them whatever's going to keep your stock price high and investment happy. Yes, Kalerin is saying, so these internal development tools are scraping all, yeah, and that's really going to suck, because they do have a lot of content and a lot of history that they can just make into data sets to regurgitate. Oh, people kind of like this, and they can kind of skew some of the criteria. Do something kind of like this, or however they're prompting it. Yikes! It's just very, very sad. Yeah, Matt's very correct. The sheets for the alchemy are very nice, the licensed ones. But yeah, there's not. There's a little bit of free content. I think like the 5e content, the basics system and stuff is free. The SRD kind of stuff. But yeah, Foundry's got a pretty. But it's not the easiest thing to use and install. You kind of have to get used to it and maybe watch a couple of tutorial videos to kind of figure out how to get everything working well. Because everything is module based, so some things will be you have to kind of, when you build the world, include them every time. Dice rollers and things, which is something I didn't do for Iron Sworn, so we didn't have any virtual dice. But yeah, it's nice. It does the math and stuff, and they display pretty well. I mean, they are not super stylized sheets, except the free ones. The free ones, they don't go all in using all the graphics and textured backgrounds and stuff that they would in the professional official releases. But they work. They function well, and they do a lot of the math for you and everything, so they make it easy. And then you can roll directly on the character sheet by clicking like a dice icon or something near the stat or near the skills, or those sorts of things. Let's see. So oh yeah, Matt's saying, yeah, for D20 characters, it's pretty easy to design sheets for free on Alchemy. Yeah, because they let you edit stuff and create your own stuff in Alchemy. Matt's saying, if they eliminate the DM, they also eliminate the traditional critic of game material. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and that's probably what they want, is so they can just spew junk to fulfill some kind of value proposition for a subscription. It's just like, oh, we're getting 30 things, 30 pieces of content for this monthly price that I'm paying for D&D Beyond sigil thing. So I wonder how this branding is going to work, and if D&D Beyond, the digital tool set and the virtual tabletop, are going to be separate things, and that you'll need to be subscribed to separately, or they're going to merge these together. They're going to screw it up. They're going to do something weird and confusing, and then they're going to have problems. There'll probably be technical trouble, and everyone will be miserable. But Abyss is saying, I think there is a place for it, but it has to help as an addition, but not as a replacement. Yeah, I think somebody was they were talking about restaurant ideas and dishes, like menu ideas, using AI to generate ideas for new recipes and things. And somebody was saying that they've used that, kind of feeding it the dishes and ingredients and stuff that they've used, and try to ask AI to give you new combinations of things. And they say most of the time just spits out garbage. But there was one, I think, like a pizza place or something, that had some success with combining very odd ingredients that actually produced a popular type of pizza. But it is like one of those things where it just maybe helps you get past your own kind of creative block where you're having trouble like beginning a creative process or like kind of thinking your way through stuff. If you do have an AI tool that just spits out some garbage and be like, no, okay, wait, this is what I want. You can kind of find your way through it just by seeing how poorly AI, generates something for it. The thoughtless version, but just grabbing stuff. And so it would probably be just the same as if you typed a random search into a search engine, and the results that spewed out if you asked a search engine a question, and the links that it spewed out, that would help you think your way through a problem just exactly the same way, because it's basically what you're doing, except it's like real language results. But Clarion says, microtransactions for subclasses or spells. I can't wait to see, and especially for the their sigil, tabletop. There's gonna be all kinds of stupid stuff with the miniatures and custom, and also because they love to do that, maybe even like blind box, like random. You buy something for whatever, a couple of dollars, and you get a random character or a random miniature, or they'll be exclusive, like you only get this metallic effect if you pay this certain amount, or be a member for so long or whatever. It's really going to get, because they've obviously got the terrible thinking of all this this live service ideas that they have in console and PC games now. All of those really shitty ideas for how to monetize, randomizing loot boxes. So basically the WizKit blind boxes for the miniatures and stuff. It's all going to be that sort of thinking in the digital world. So it's going to be wacky. Oh yeah, talking of how about that PS5 Pro price in Japan is insane. It's almost it's like $1,200 if you give it a more fair currency exchange. $1,200 is what it's close to in Japan. Yeah, $699. Ouch. And no disc, digital only, $699. So if you're not paying your subscription for your PlayStation, whatever it's called, you don't have any games. Yikes. Or you can't play anything, multiplayer online. You own nothing and be happy. Yeah, it's a really weird move to price something so high, pretend that it's like a radical, it may be a big step in graphics rendering, or the power of the processing and the graphics, but the games are not going to reflect that for a while. That the studios are going to have to be able to be designing games that will not be capped at 30 frames a second and stuff, that will be able to utilize the full power of that system. So what you're paying for might not even ever become available, or it's only going to be newer releases that you'll have to buy digitally. Yeah. It's crazy. And I can't even imagine paying full day. I've never done it. Full day one release price, like $50, $60, $70 for a digital version of a game, just so that you can be playing it day one. It's crazy. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that's the thing, that they can fill up a shop and everything like so quickly with digital items if they are going to be just generating them. It's just like a Mad Libs kind of thing. Just fill in the wand of something, crown of this, boots of that. Okay, yeah, just yikes. Yeah, that's going to be it's going to be weird. And already I'm seeing, I think it's on Instagram, these some platform is going all in with player tools and DM tools using AI, and so it's obviously it's a subscription service that gives you access to all these tools that generates NPCs, generates settings, generates towns and everything. So it's basically like taking all the rolling on tables of a lot of rule books and setting books and stuff, and just puts it through AI. And but they're always showing these really beautiful CG art, vistas, and these wonderful things that look like some amazing fantasy movie, and then it's an ad for just some AI tools for online play. Yeah, yeah. What's too bad they released. So I don't know about this timing for the PS5 Pro, because they released Concord, their super live service, awesome hero shooter, and then they shut it down, and then they released the hardware that you should be playing it on. Yeah, it's really really bad. Yeah, and it's just, that's the thing though, is because I remember, so my brother kind of bounced around in the game industry and ended up in mobile games, because those games could make $1 billion, and it was much harder for a console or PC game to make that kind of money, because even with DLC there was like such limited ways that players could keep financially rewarding the game. Like once the game was out, people were done financially interacting with it. But mobile games, were doing the in-game currencies and all the microtransactions and everything. So the console and PC games have been trying to figure out for so long how to tap into that, how to get your World of Tanks, or your what are popular, I don't even know, is Candy Crush still a thing? But how to get those that kind of constant financial engagement with a player, where they're feeding back into the company, so that then they have funding to then keep generating content that then is even more paid for, content that keeps generating stuff. So they were really killing themselves trying to figure out how to make those kind of, because what they were seeing is at the big game shows like the Tokyo Game Show, and when E3 was a thing, and probably the Las Vegas show, whatever that technology show is, the people that were having these huge presence and were actually having the most successful games there were these Asian, Korean, and the mobile game companies. And they were realizing that I guess we got to figure this out, because we can sell millions of copies of these games, but only for so long. It's more similar to movies. They have this like release window, this full price release window, and then people are expecting the price to go down, and then there'll be like a game of the year edition for a console game that'll have all the DLC baked in. And so now they're trying to figure out how to sell all of that. So that kind of shitty live service thinking coming to tabletop RPGs is fucking terrifying. Yeah, it's crazy. And it's really going to make, I think, I don't know how much of the gaming the player base, the customers, the monetizable customers, just step back and just like, okay, pencil, eraser, paper, and dice, let's just do this. Let's not engage with this. Yeah, it's going to be weird. And I forget if it was it Abyss or maybe Miguel that was talking about they're making a totally different thing. It's not going to be tabletop role play anymore. It's going to be this weird middle step between PC gaming, CRPGs, and like a digital tools for tabletop. And it's not going to be the same kind of experience when you're waiting for spell animation effects to load and stuff, and just I don't know. But the pandemic, I think we can blame the pandemic on preparing everybody, or lowering everybody's tolerance. Lowering everybody's resistance, maybe is a better way to put that, resistance to playing online and playing digitally, because that was our only choice for a while. And so we just kind of like bit the bullet and just okay, I guess we'll do it this way. And it's like, oh, I guess it's not so bad, and the tools improved, and we figured out ways to make it workable. And now they're going to try to feed it to us completely like that. I mean the whole idea that even when they were demoing Sigil when they did the Sigil demo at Gen Con or wherever the hell that was, people sitting with laptops in front of them around a table, like in person, sitting with a laptop, that's some kind of weird hell. Yeah, that's really bizarre. Yes, Clarion, that's a very good point. That's why you love to support the small indie designers. Yeah, definitely, because I think that's where you're going to have the more authentic experience, and probably more innovative, creative, and satisfying game experiences is from people that are constantly, obsessing with how to do certain things in a game that they can't find anywhere else. And whatever's going to happen in this weird Hasbro space, the Hasbroverse, with Optimus Prime. I don't know, Greyhawk, and we'll have to figure out how Optimus Prime and the Transformers came to Greyhawk, and they landed some asteroid or something landed, and then G.I. Joe came through a portal, a wormhole in the universe. Yeah, so as soon as they started talking about that, when they were and I think they're trying to avoid the previous mistakes of TSR when they were releasing the box sets for the new settings, and they're doing Dark Sun and Planescape and this space boat one, but the having that kind of start to break up the players by saying, oh no, we only play in this setting, and they haven't released any new material for this setting, so we're not going to buy other stuff that they're doing because that's not the setting we play. By doing the multiverse thing, then and having that adventure, that like the final 2014 5e adventure being a multiverse romp through all the worlds of D&D, like a guided tour of those worlds, then they're basically saying, you don't have to feel restricted. If you want to play one of our new releases, it's all connected, man. But then they can extend that even further and say, and if you want to put My Little Pony in there, why the hell not? Sure, we'll let you do that as well. We'll give you the tools. Yeah, Matt, I agree. I hate that the Cyberpunk board game requires an app. App assistants are okay, but when they're required, and when you can't do it without them, when there's not like a cards or a book or something that can replace the AI, that's the thing that I'm kind of feeling weird about the Dark Tower Returns. They didn't give you a traditional, more simplified version that plays more like the old game, where it's just a dumb kind of simple number generator or whatever that makes the decisions inside the tower itself. The tower has to be connected to the app, and the app is talking, your phone is always talking to the tower. So as soon as they stop developing that app, and then you can't either download it or get it on a more current device, then that game is just a big bunch of nothing. But it's got an RPG. But yeah, and that's the thing too. That's what I was thinking. It is a lot of the named characters, but there is going to be a 2077 setting book for Cyberpunk Red. So that might be another reason that people are interested in all those minis and all the that board game developing so much stuff, is because that's a lot of assets you could use to play in the 2077, in person on the table. But it is board game miniatures, and it looks like they've got a lot of stuff. The bases are very sculpted with a lot of kind of scenic cluttered bases, so it's not simple miniatures. They're kind of complicated sculpts, so I don't know if they'll necessarily work that well. But that is a weird decision for them to do that. And I guess if they're using voice actors or something, that makes sense. But then that makes the app itself pretty heavy if you've got sound files and stuff in there, or if it's talking to a server to pull sound files. I don't know. It's not a great choice, and you do end up someday you're gonna have a dead board game. You're gonna have a board game you may not even be able to play unless they've thought about that, which Return to Dark Tower did not. They did not even consider an offline mode, which is weird. But I know, somebody on Board Game Geek or whatever has already, kind of thought that through and given you like a dice or a card-based way to simulate what the tower does. But yeah, it sucks that the original company doesn't think that far ahead. They're just like, there's always going to be smartphones, right? And with all the shenanigans that the iOS and Google stores do with with apps and how to pay for and how to, how the money goes through them and everything. Yeah, you can't trust that anything's going to stay on any of those platforms. Yeah, so you have to sideload an ancient version of the assistant app for your board game. Just keep one of these old dead devices handy. Yeah, so that was an odd move, but yeah, I can't believe we're still getting millions and millions of dollars for video game based board games. Yeah, it's really interesting. And the thing that I noticed, Gamefound has that financing option as well, like right in the back this pledge level, back this pledge level. They also have, or pay $19 a month, for so they already have a pay over time option like built into their billing. That's not good. I'm still paying over time for my Cyberpunk board game from 10 years ago. Yeah, right, exactly, Claire. And if you want to play where the power is out or the internet is down, yeah, too bad, sorry. Or you got to charge your device. Oh, the device is dead. I guess we can't play anymore. Abyss said there's a game publisher out there that made their own player board that can be used for different games, and you need it, otherwise you cannot play even their games. Nice. Yeah, I think getting too involved in just like current technology and not having like a longer view about, because you want a board game to be playable forever, or as long as the paper components and everything are hanging in there. You don't want it to but now you have to buy the updated version with the augmented reality that goes into the weird mask you wear on your face to be connected to the internet now. Yeah, who knows what's next after smartphones. Oh yeah, did you see, speaking of smartphones, did you guys see the Huawei 3? You thought the PlayStation 5 Pro was expensive. Did you see the, I don't know what they called it, but it's a tri-fold smartphone. So it's 3 panels, like 2 hinges, 3 panels, a $3,000 smartphone made by Huawei. So who knows, quality-wise, how those hinges are going to hang in there. But so it folds out like a brochure. It's so bizarre. I don't understand the usability or functionality of that. Like, okay, it folds, it has 3 panels, so you could stand it up, but each panel is going to be at a weird angle. And can you just do one panel, or can you just flip out the back or the front and have some different functionality? Because I don't understand the folding folding phones as it is. It doesn't seem like they're all that useful. You double the real estate, but nothing is really going to be built for that. Like, you're not going to be able to take advantage. What square what square content are you going to be using on a phone that folds this way? And then the those are Samsung, the Galaxy Flips or whatever, that fold in half like a Game Boy Advanced. That seems weird too. I guess you don't have to have a stand for it. You can like set the camera flat on a table. But I don't understand the functionality of that. It's just a weird novelty. Hey, Agent Carolina, how's it going? Oh yeah, we're early in the week, Carolina. So sorry for the different day of the week. Yeah, and sorry. I saw your comment on the cartoon stream. Yeah, the notifications didn't work well for that stream at all. So I wonder if that was a restream problem or what that was. But none of my accounts got notified that I was live yesterday for the cartoon stream. But a $3,000 smartphone. I thought over $1,000, like getting close to $2,000, was ridiculous. But yeah, $3,000. I don't even know if cell phone carriers are going to be able to help you with any of that. You're just gonna have to shell out for it. That seems a bit of a luxury purchase, and it still doesn't make any sense. And just so 2 hands, you're definitely using 2 hands, and a smartphone needs to be a one-handed device for it to be very practical. Yeah, and you're not even, so like 3 of these is still not it's a mini tablet. It's not even like a full size tablet. So what the hell are you paying for? I wish I could fold my iPad in 3. Yeah, it's weird. I guess is carrying it in a pocket that much of a, necessity? It's very weird. But the yeah, that was a weird, because they were trying to, and I guess they are doing a good job of knocking iPhones out of the top of the Chinese market, at least like the top 5 smartphones. I think iPhone is like number 6 now, but they were timing it with the iPhone 16 announcement, and then Huawei said, we have a big announcement, technology that people have attempted but have never perfected, but this is a big release. This is going to change the industry. It's like, what is the purpose of that? I don't know. There's got to be some function that they're thinking about, because it's just screen real estate. It doesn't make any sense, because the wider something gets, the more impractical it is. You can't type easily with your thumbs when it's getting bigger, because I remember seeing the first iPad, and it has the the virtual keyboard, and the first time I ever saw someone with an iPad in Japan standing on a platform, a train platform, they were typing on it, and they were holding it like this, and they were going like this to type on the virtual keyboard. It looked insane, and it was very slow and ridiculous. It's like that. It's obviously not meant to be doing that. So, what's the? How is that even useful? So I think, the same thing as I'm thinking of the more panels you're having on your smartphone. There's, I don't know, unless you can have, 2 opposing panels, and there's some reason that you want to have, people, some app that has functionality where people facing each other can both see, like both cameras can be used and both see whatever and give you a view of what the camera is seeing. It's just silly. Yeah, things are getting... Yeah, in Japan, they seem to be, like, really in love with this, like, this phone is so freaking tiny. I hate this little tiny phone. But this width, I think because maybe just the average size of Japanese fingers or whatever, they're in love with this width. So all you can get is phones that are longer. You can't get anything wider than this. Some of the Chinese phones get more tablet-sized. But in Japan, everything is really stuck to that really, whatever that is, like 3.5 inches or whatever, the little thin, narrow thing so your thumb can reach across. But for me, it feels like I'm using a little kid's phone. It's very frustrating. Oh, this has an iPhone SE. Would love something smaller. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's hard. I liked, I had a bigger, wider... What was that, like a Samsung or something? That was the perfect size, but I've never seen that again. They've never made that again, and so it's weird. Yeah, I had an actual early days, like before smartphones, a flip phone that flipped this way and had a physical keyboard on it, a QWERTY keyboard. That was amazing because and I think it was originally designed to be like the first blogging phone or whatever, because you could actually type into it in English on a QWERTY keyboard very quickly. So that like changed my emailing and text messaging and everything, because previous to that you're just using, and especially English, on the 12 key kind of virtual thumb keyboard, or even the numbers, the number pad of the more analog or more hardware phones. This is so slow for English, so that was like amazing. More like BlackBerry style, like having a full keyboard or a full thumb keyboard changed the ability to type so much. And because in Japan, most Japanese can type very quickly on that 12 key number pad kind of thing, and that's what iPhones still have that, and smartphones still have that, because people are really fast here. Typing Japanese like that, because they're just doing phonetic stuff. But that was early BlackBerry days. Blackberries, they tried to hang in there, didn't they? There's still a Razr phone, one of the cell phone carriers in Japan. I guess it's not. So Motorola, China owns Motorola now, right? So. but they kept the Razr brand. I guess they bought the Razr brand, and so they were trying to release a Razr phone because that was one of the foreign popular phones, and I think just because it was the phone they always used in 24, the Kiefer Sutherland TV drama, and that was really popular in Japan. So that phone was, I think, the only foreign-made phone before the iPhone that did well, or existed. Now, I don't think it did well, but existed in Japan, and I think it was just because always the later seasons of 24, Kiefer Sutherland was on that, a Razr phone. But I saw that they're still trying to use that brand, and I think it's just Chinese made. Anyhow, cell phone, mobile phone talk. Palm Pilots, there we go. A Palm Pilot. Yeah, I had a I forget what it was, but yeah, it had a screen. It was like a touch screen, but it had a physical keyboard and a really big screen, and it had a a big slot at the top, like a what are those even called? Those old camera, those big. They look like a game cartridge, like a miniature game cartridge almost. Compact flash kind of things, slots that I could put a wireless antenna in, a wireless so I could use Wi-Fi. And it was one of the first things that a device that you could use Wi-Fi and do chatting, and it had some limited functionality, very early days functionality, but the thing that got it had no wireless built into it, but you can put into this like compact flash giant slot on the top, put this wireless wireless antenna on it, and that actually worked pretty well. That must be around somewhere still. I wonder if it's even functional, but I can't remember who even made that, but it was pretty cool. That was like did a lot of the things that smartphones eventually did, but in very early, kind of Palm Pilot days. Yeah. Oh, Abyss said, started using phones from 2012. Yeah. Oh, wow, the release of Pokemon Go. Interesting. Yeah, I remember, having to, being forced to, like, work-wise and stuff, having to get on cell phones before, like, just at the beginning of those early days of the really expensive plans and carriers, but not the super expensive stuff. I forget what those phones and what that platform was, but in LA, of course, they had the crazy expensive cell phones that had really limited usability and connectivity, but in LA, I guess it was flat enough and everything that in a lot of areas it worked okay. I forget what that was, but yeah, it was very early days of smartphones, but a lot of jobs like kind of forced you to do it. And if you had like web servers or anything and you needed like notification if things were down, you either had a pager, or you had to use a pager, old style pager, or a cell phone to get notifications like immediately about tech problems. Agent Carolina said, I swore I'd never been one of those persons that couldn't put down their phone, but here we are. Yeah, that really sucks now that you leave home without your phone and like, oh no, now like my functionality has dropped in half. I'm just gonna have to show up when I show up and find things when I find things, and I'm not talking about I remember transitioning from a flip phone to an iPhone. It was so weird. Now I have to help some old timers with their flip phones. I can't even remember how they work. That was that transition here was so bizarre because domestic phones, like Japan, even though the technology and the mobile websites and stuff were terrible in Japan, that was the way, that was the style, that's what everybody used. And so people would get on the train, hang onto the strap and flip their phones up and just sit and type, text messages or whatever that, SMS, or go on the shitty internet. And that's what they did. And then you saw the first iPhone, and it looked weird and awkward, and like, oh, that's never going to be popular here. No one's going to use this big, single, because even though the kind of candy bar phones weren't that popular here, always flip phones. And it just took over. It was like, just like in 2 years that everybody was using iPhones. And I think once it, because a lot of Apple's like strategy in a lot of markets was they would give exclusivity to one carrier, so that they'd have this like sweetheart deal where Apple was getting a big chunk of even the monthly fees, I think, for the network stuff, for the mobile data plans, and so they made those deals. But then once the exclusivity was broken and all the carriers had iPhones, everybody switched to iPhones here. Yeah, they're really really dominant. And yeah, I'm really surprised. Oh no. Ripped a flip phone in half by tripping over the charger. That's insane. Google says it was 2016. Oh wow, interesting. Hey Quark, how's it going? Yeah, it is really hard to remember how many years ago things were. Because yeah, the first iPhone was only like 2008 or something. It wasn't like, I mean, it's it's as long ago now, but it wasn't. Or am I thinking of iPad? Am I thinking of iPods? I think it's 2008. But they were terrible when they first came out. Oh, 2007. Yeah, June 2007 in the US probably. So probably Japan was later. Yeah, but the first ones were terrible because it was all 2G. Yeah. So slow and expensive, and you weren't streaming YouTube or barely even music. I think your music you had to download locally. God, they look ridiculous too. The first iPhones are horrible looking. So funny, but yeah, that was the thing. And I guess iPhone 16 went back to the hardware, the physical, whatever they call it, the function button, the hardware button at the bottom. Those are the things that always seem to have the problem. Like I understand why they moved away from it, because that was the thing that you could have a mechanical problem with it, would actually need repaired. But I wonder why they're going back to ports and buttons on iPhones. But Apple Intelligence, I can't wait to see how well that's going to work. And I guess they're going to force that. They're designing it for the iPhone 16, but they're going to force it onto all iPhones when it's out of beta. Can't wait, because it's going to. Well, some of the functionality was really bizarre. It was going to pay attention to like how you talked and fix your how you wrote on your messages and stuff. That's going to be intrusive. I don't even like grammar correction on when I'm writing something. I can't imagine. Well, your tone isn't. What are you going for here? I think we can fix your tone. I don't need an AI assistant giving me that kind of instruction. That's weird. Wow. Oh, yeah, good idea. Yeah, 92. Yeah, that makes... Yeah, Nokia, that's right. I remember early Nokias. What was the Star or something? The earliest cell phones that people had to pay like crazy, like hundreds of dollars a month for. And they had just their own network. StarTAC? Is that... yeah. Yeah, StarTAC. The Motorola StarTAC, I think, was... Oh, no, that's 96. No, that's not it. No, it's not StarTAC. That's just the... the Henry Ford Museum has it, though. Shoot, is it that? Yeah, because I think I was... It looks like it. It looks like the weird... Yeah, because it's just the orange LED... Or is that LCD? LCD screen for the number. It might be it. Motorola StarTAC. But it's saying, yeah, 95, 96. I thought it was earlier than that, but it's really expensive. Yeah, Nokia 9000 communicator. Oh, that's the big one. the big silver one with the hard the pull out antenna. Yeah, the 9000 communicator. It's durable, affordable, and small enough to small enough to fit in a pocket or purse. Really? Nice. Yeah, I think the StarTAC were the first ones that I ever saw, like neighbors and stuff using. But I knew the network fees and stuff were crazy expensive for the early days, and the sound quality was really bad. It was almost like a shortwave radio kind of, kind of quality. That's funny. Yeah, that's right. Matt's got to get the. How are we reason a lot of payphones, I imagine, in '85. Keep those. Wait, how much was a payphone in the '80s? When did a quarter? A payphone in '85. Because I can't remember when they switched. It was 25 cents during the mid 80s and 90s. So 10 cents until the mid 80s. Oh, yeah, so it's going to be, yeah, it would be right around that transition where it was a dime and then it became a quarter. Oh, no. We're going to have to start carrying quarters. Yeah, that's funny. Wow, what a jump, too. Yeah, that'll be funny. I can't wait to... I can't wait. Yeah, the big brick. Yeah, that's right. Oh, geez. It says best friend's wife had the flu, then COVID right after. Yikes. Yeah, just sort of stories. Someone's friend's father had diabetes, and COVID was a complicating factor that I think he was quite old, quite elderly, but it was a complicating factor that made COVID fatal. That's nasty. Yeah, dime. Drop a dime. We're going to have to use all the 80s lingo. Galarian says there was a TV show called War of the Worlds in the late 80s and 90s that had characters with personal cell phones. Yeah. I remember car phones were before, because I guess they could mount antennas and stuff in the cars. So car phones came before the StarTAC and because StarTAC I think was the first flip phone, because it was that awkward, weird flip phone. That was the first time I ever saw somebody walking around with a cell phone. Yeah, that must have been mid 90s. So what are your takes on a board game table? So the Wormwood gaming table was shipping to Europe. Ooh, and they look really good. But paying $40,000 for a table. Yeah, I mean, if it's a functional piece of furniture, if you're buying a kitchen table and it's like a couple thousand, it's like $1,000 more than you would have paid for your dining room table, and it has that leaf that you can remove and has the felt lined, so you can have like a board game in progress and then put the top on it and use it as a table. I mean, that's cool and functional, but it has to be a big part of your life, I think. Or unless, if you're buying nice furniture. I think a lot of that, always with game tables, I always want to build it yourself. That's not something you want to have in your dining room or your kitchen, but if you have a basement or a game room or whatever, I think building a game table would always be better, because then you could keep kind of reconfiguring it and customizing it for different things that you're going to do. I've never, because I haven't been to any game shows where they've had demos of those, so I'm not sure about the size of them, and how, if they're deep enough that most board games you could actually cover. There's not anything too tall or anything, but there couldn't be. Yeah, you couldn't do that with wargaming, because most terrain is too tall to. You'd have to have a really deep. The table itself would have to be like a sand table depth. Yeah, really expensive. But if you buy, because if it's wooden furniture, it's going to last forever. But and they do exotic woods and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. If you if you have a partner that it's I don't want your stupid I'll be visible when friends are over. Yeah, something like that is useful for, I guess, concealing it. But yeah, that's a huge investment. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Will built his own. Nice. Yeah, I think kind of doing it yourself and figuring out the kinds of things you want to do. If you want to do a an LCD panel, or if you want to have a what's useful for how you game, because a lot of that stuff, a lot of the companies that make those, they have the rail system where they have the cup holders and dice cups and stuff, and a lot of that doesn't look all that functional, and sometimes the tables just don't seem like they're big enough for what you want to do. If you have a fixed group and you want something that doesn't ruin the look, look of your house, then maybe that's worth it. I don't know. Yeah, but those are definitely those luxury. So you've got your Beadle and Grimms on the shelf behind you, and you've got your wormwood table. Yeah, I think it'd be more fun, and especially if it's your group. If you had somebody that's got some of the tools that you would need that you don't have, and you kind of like built it together, that would be pretty fun. Yeah. Carolina says my ex-boyfriend has a scanner and used to drive around looking for live crime until the cops told him to knock it off. Nice. Police scanners. Yeah, that's right. Back in the day. I think that's still. Yeah, I think that. Yeah, they'll take those away from you. I remember. My grandfather, my dad's dad, was a cop, and he was hard of hearing from the war, and always had a police scanner running in the house, and they lived in a small town, so it wasn't that crazy active, but it was startling, like how when it just starts chirping at you, and it had like this kind of chase light that was like scanning the bands or whatever it was doing. So as a little kid, it was fun to watch, but then it would stop on one of the bands. It was turned up so loud that it would just be startling, and there wasn't any ever like crazy crimes, but yeah, it was very very unusual. But yeah, I remember him telling me, you can't you can't own this. Well, if we find something like this on somebody, we take it away from them. Oh yeah, I want to see a picture of Will's game table. That would be very cool. Oh yeah, Nightcrawler. Yeah, I guess that's right. That was a good movie. Nice. Oh yeah, I don't know I don't know on YouTube chat if you can post images or not. Might have to put a link to the link to it somewhere, because you're a mod, Matt. Yes, you can post links, so yeah, you can link to an image, but I don't think you can embed. I don't think there's inline images in chat, not in YouTube at least. That could get questionable. Nice. Oh yeah, if you send me a link, I can put it on. If you have an image that's showable, I can put it on the stream. Yeah, looking forward to some Outgunned. Got to get our 85. Yeah, got to get 85 making sense. Nice. Yeah, I realized my character would be probably the youngest of our group, but not a kid, so that's good. I can play an adult, because it said for the criteria for kid that it's a teenager or student, so I think I'm older than that. Oh, that's cool. You didn't take it away. That's cool. Oh yeah. Send me something if you've got something, Matt. Yeah, go ahead and send me a messenger. I'll throw it up. Oh jeez. Let's see here. Oh, nice. Oh, neat. Let me see. How can I do this? So I gotta download this. I'm gonna download everything. Oh, it's giving it to me as a JFIF.JIFFIF. Let's try to save it another way. No. Okay. Well, let me see if this actually goes up. What are you doing, Facebook? Oh, very cool. Yeah, let me see if this works. I have no idea what's going to happen here. Add an image source. It doesn't say it supports JFIF, whatever the hell that is. So let's find out. All right. Let's see what happens here. Sorry, this is making for exciting audio. I can imagine. Where is a JFIF? It's not. Oh, it's not coming up in any known files. Yeah, it's not. That's weird. Yeah, I wonder why Facebook was doing that. Yeah, it's not. It's not coming up as something I can add onto the under the OBS. Yeah, it's not a recognizable file format for images, at least. What else can I do? I can share the. I can do the desktop. I don't know. Wait, let me make it its own thing, and just share it as a window. Oh, what a mess! What a mess! But yeah, sorry. This is going to be completely window capture. Okay, see how this goes. Yeah, this is what could possibly go wrong. Me like sharing the window of my personal Facebook page. That can't go horribly wrong. No, it's not even finding that. Weird. Oh, there it is. There we go. Can you guys see that? Yes. So here's what Matt sent. Yeah, for some reason JFIF. Inspecting the page. Oh yeah, they're right. Yeah, so here's the images Matt sent. Cool. Nice. Yeah, I've heard some people say that some of the IKEA dining room tables and stuff, because you're assembling that stuff anyhow, you can like do some cutting and stuff and like recess, flat panel, either monitors or TVs in them and stuff. Yeah, it looks cool. Nice, a lot of space. Yeah, that's the only the thing I'm always with game tables. So yeah, the latest thing that I'm trying to use as a game table is a 9 foot by 5 foot ping pong table, and it folds. So it folds and rolls away, so I don't always have to have it out, and it's a little bit easier to use because we were putting together 4 of these like classroom tables, kind of office size, like conference room kind of office size. They're usually used for classrooms in Japan, and so 4 of those were giving us a nice big table, but those have like weird book racks underneath them and stuff, and they're kind of low tables, and they're very hard to fold and move around. They're pretty heavy. So my idea was a ping pong table, because that's what I always used as what we always used as a kid. We always played Car Wars and D&D and stuff on a big shitty folding ping pong table in the 80s. Cool. Yeah, I don't know what a JFIF is and why Facebook was doing that to me, but nice. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Matt. Nice. Playing some crossbows and catapults. Sweet. Yeah, that's a nice amount of room. So where is that? Is that in Will's main part of his yeah, so sorry anybody that's listening to the audio, you're totally not seeing that, but yeah, nice. So Matt's 3 by 4. Nice. Nice. Oh, Black Sword Hack was the other. Oh, let me see. Oh, maybe I missed that in the thing. I didn't want to go too far. Loading. Oh, nice. Oh, on the boats. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Sorry, let me turn that back on. Boom. That's cool. So, are those Pathfinder pawns? Those ships are so cool. Yeah, Will does some cool stuff. Nice. Oh, and I see some Mountain Dew. Now it's authentic roleplay because I see a can of Mountain Dew. Very cool. I can't believe that WotC didn't try for the a sponsorship or collaboration for the 50th with Mountain Dew. Come on. Nice. Yeah, beginner for Necromunda. Yeah, it's nice. Nice size. Yeah, very cool. Wow. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think making stuff yourself would be more satisfying, but you probably can't unless you're a talent unless you're a talented woodworker make anything that your partner would want to eat dinner on. So I don't know. I think that's what Wormwood is trying to the thing they're trying to fill is some of the we'll buy a nice a few $1,000 dining room table. Okay, spend $1,000 more, and now you have a game table and a dining room table. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know size wise what they got. Cool. Ah, nice. Yeah, those boats are cool. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Did I take that down too fast? I don't know what I'm doing. I am not good at on the fly. Yeah, improvising here. Turn that back on. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, just foam board. Very nice. Yeah, I needed to do a ship for one of our Frostgrave things, and I just ended up getting a paper. So I did paper models, and just did one of those and kind of like just cut it diagonally, so it was like sunk and frozen in the ice. But yeah, those look great. Very cool. Nice. Yeah, Mr. Bragger. Yeah, Matt, geez, you have real friends that you play in person with. Yeah, you think you're so cool. Nice. So they've arranged a house with a 2 living room type of rooms, and one is a game room. Nice. Yeah, that would be nice. Dedicated game room. Very cool. Yeah, we got to get something. So we got to get this ping pong table, put it to use, play some Blade Runner or something. It's hard to get people. People with their damn little kids. Yeah, that's the problem. Is everyone's like 10 years younger than me, so they've all got like, grade school, like elementary school age kids, so they're not quite self-sufficient and stuff. So they need to be around a lot and getting them to lessons and after school stuff. There's so much busy stuff like club activities, and then the cram schools and stuff in Japan. So much stuff that the parents have to help the kids with. Yeah, very cool boats. Damn. Now I feel like I'm wasting Wheel's potential by playing only on on virtual tabletops and Discord. It'd be much more fun to have physical stuff. Yeah, Matt's making us all feel bad. We have to replace him with a mod bot, so he doesn't make us feel terrible for not having game in person groups. Yeah, hopefully after October, when I get back to a regular schedule, I can get some kind of regular session going. I'm not sure what day of the week, but something in person in Kyoto, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, taking too much time. Yeah, outside of school. Yeah, was one of the reasons our family decided to move from Japan. Oh yeah, no, Cork. I totally get that. They really, keep the kids so extra busy, and even like their summer holidays or spring break or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, now you have club activities. If they're in a sports club, then you have your tournaments or your games or whatever. So yeah, just no free time at all. And I can't believe like the older kids, like junior high school and maybe high school kids that are cramming for university entrance or high school entrance exams, they're at cram school until like 9-10 o'clock. Just that's crazy. Parents, there's like lines of cars picking up kids, and they're going to school the next day. They're getting up at 6 and going to school the next day, and they've been out. They're eating dinner after they get home at 10 o'clock. Yeah, it's silly. Nice. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Matt. That was cool. Nice to see. Yeah, I'm trying to. So the ping pong table thing, I'm trying to figure out if I should cover it because it's individual. It's MDF panels, and so I could like do some cork sheet or some foam padding or something, kind of like upholster it so it's like a padded, more like a poker table, or even felt, I guess, like a poker table or something. But I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to keep the surface like, or even like a sheet magnet or something might be useful, or something you could write on. I don't know. It depends on what we end up actually doing with it long term. But it's kind of, I'm not ever going to use it as a ping pong table, so I can fuck up the surface of it. And because it's 4 panels as well, so it wouldn't be hard to cut it and recess a monitor in it, or even recess. The other thing I was thinking is one of those short throw video projectors, and then recess a piece of like frosted or just acrylic, probably like a white acrylic or something that you could project up against. That would be very cool as well. I don't know, all kinds of options. Nice. Yeah, we did. Yes, we did trick Will into kind of running a game for us, though. That's right. Yes, we're breaking him down. Yeah, that's nice. That was fun. Yeah, I liked like Will going through. His explanation was good for Ironsworn, because I didn't want to. I didn't know if there would be anything that would be spoiled in like the like the truths, the process of like world building and stuff. So I didn't look at anything, and Will did a good job of explaining everything, kind of how it worked, and how the random generator things, I forget what they call them. We were referring to the tables and questions and stuff. But that was cool. Very cool. Yeah, so we're going to have some beautiful alchemy VTT for Friday night, Saturday, this side of the world, Asia time, for Outgunned. Yes, so that should be awesome. Oh yeah, and Matt, yeah, can you send me? You can just do it in Facebook. Send me that graphic that you did, so I'll use that for the stream. The kind of title page and ending page for the stream for Outgunned. Send me that cool 80s, the indie heat that you did. Yeah, so we'll be playing. It's Saturday Japan time, Friday night U.S. West Coast time, right? Did I get that right? Yeah. Yeah, but so it's Saturday like noon time in Japan, but 8 p.m. the previous day in California. Friday, yes. It's too confusing. I have everything. It's usually tomorrow, but since we're doing this a day early, it's not tomorrow. But I always confuse Matt too when I ask him, Matt, can you fill in? Can you co-host for the weekly tomorrow night? And Matt's like, what, you mean tonight? I'm like, oh yeah, but it's your tonight. It's my tomorrow afternoon. Yeah. Time differences. But yeah, cool. So I think we're good. Yeah, sorry, we went pretty far off topic, but it was fun to hear everyone's, especially that PlayStation, that PS5 Pro. That is just silly, and it's weird because a long time ago, the 2010s sometime, Sony tried that with the digital only. I forget what it was called, but they had the PSP, and then they did a digital only PSP thing to try to see, kind of test the waters and see if portable and no disc would work. So it was the Vita they did after, but that had little cards. But there was a half step between PSP and Vita that they did that was digital only. I don't know if it even got outside of Japan very much, but those showed up at the recycle shops pretty fast. They had a weird name too. Maybe it was like PSP Go or something. But it was a discless system. But that was really early days when the PlayStation Network and stuff really sucked still. It still kind of sucks. I don't like buying stuff from Sony. But nice. Oh yeah, almost midnight here. Yeah. Okay, so cool. So Abyss is 9 a.m, and Matt is almost midnight. Nice. Well, geez, everybody's at totally different time. Yeah, that's so funny. It's weird playing with that huge time difference, and like because we're doing it over Discord and online, it lets us do that. But yeah, you're in a kind of a totally different mode. Like I'm in lunchtime mode, and the players are in the US are after dinner, getting into late evening. So our energy levels and stuff are all totally different, and it's hard to gotta pay kind of close attention, because how you're feeling in the the middle of the day is completely different from how people that have had a whole day already and it's after work or after dinner. Yeah, that's the weird thing about the time difference. I don't think works, because when we try to, people that have left Japan, we've tried to, let's keep gaming and we can do it remotely, like get a laptop with a camera on it or whatever, and include you in the session. But yeah, then they get up at 6 a.m. to play with us or whatever. It's just silly. Aren't you old? Abyss. Woof. Ouch. It's almost past your bed. It's almost bedtime for you. All right, let's Matt go to bed, because we can't be without a moderator, or this chat would just get out of control. Nice. Oh, cool. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, I will check that. That should be fine. Cool. But yeah, I thought for the live stream I'd use your awesome 80s graphics. All right, so thanks for watching, everybody, and thank you so much, patrons and members and free members and followers and subscribers and everything. Thanks so much for supporting what we're doing. Yeah, it means a lot and keeps us going. So stay tuned for some Outgunned. Matt's gonna run some 80s buddy cop. It's a thruple. A thruple of buddy cops for us. Yeah, not tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow. So Friday night US time. And yeah, so we'll see you again soon. So thanks again, and talk to you soon. Goodbye.